The final day of competition, Team 5, Broussard and Cherry, still hold a commanding lead. But the Soleil brothers took the top score for last night's orienteering event and passed Beck and Billings from the 75th Ranger Regiment, taking the second spot.
12 hours of land nap. There was no argument last night. We were all on the same sheet of music.
Kicking off the top of the morning, the mother of all obstacle courses, the Darby Queen.
Darby Queen is a obstacle course that consists of 26 obstacles over 2,000 meters, about 1.63 miles of terrain. There's some natural obstacles such as hills that are involved in it. The three hardest obstacles of the course are the tough one, hence the name, the inverted rope descent, and the skyscraper obstacles. They are subsequent to one another, basically one after the other. Right now they're on the downhill slope to the finish line. Pretty much they're just trying to stay in the game, you know. So what you're going to see at the finish line is a lot of guys are going to be really, really tired.
I think it takes something bigger than yourself to get through something like this, and I'll be relying on that probably towards the end. We've given everything we have. So,
Be some small prayers.
The real best Rangers aren't these guys, all these incredibly in shape men that are here. It's the fire team leaders, it's the squad leaders, it's the platoon leaders and company commanders overseas leading the forward operating base and combat outpost every single day and closing with and looking to kill bad guys. They're the best Rangers.
That's right.
You know, in a way, we're doing this to honor. We're blessed with a great opportunity to compete this year.
A lot of times, squads will be entering and clearing buildings in Iraq, and according to doctrine, it's best to clear buildings top to bottom. So it helps them in enabling them to climb walls, move along walls to get to the rooftops of buildings to clear them from top to bottom.
Well, I won't let my Ranger buddy down. So we're in this together. So we'll keep driving on. If he's taking another step, I'm right there with him, right on his heels. Or pull him along behind me, one or the other, but we're doing it together.
At this point, everybody's, you know, just running all you know, whatever they have left, just pushing it these last 2 days. That first day was probably one of the hardest days I've ever seen. It was a lot harder than last year's best Ranger. I know that.
Up next, the Hilo cast.
It's a method of insertion into a body of water, just another means for them to go ahead and get to their objective, basically. Probably the most important part for the Hilo cast, number one, is the waterproofing of your equipment. Making sure you get your equipment completely waterproof and you construct a very good poncho raft that will float and make it easier for you to move across the water. The actual swim is what makes it difficult. You're carrying all your equipment in a poncho raft combined, you and your partner's weighted down. It's waterproof and you got to swim to wherever you got to get to, so it's extremely tough, very tiring.
Everyone you meet around here has been over to Iraq or Afghanistan or both, and maybe not just once, but twice or 3 times. So you have to admire them. You know, you have to really admire them because they have a rough, their normal life is a pretty rough routine. You know, to maintain their proficiency with all the equipment they're expected to handle today, and a lot of it is quite complicated, and as well as maintain their physical capability to do the things that's expected of them. To take on something like this as an additional duty or pastime is quite a challenge and very commendable.
The water confidence test is made up of a log walk, rope drop obstacle, and a 75-foot tower with suspension traverse.
The first year that we competed, I had no idea what to expect. I came in here thinking I was one of the strongest guys in the world, you know, like every one of these competitors think they are. And they come here and I got humbled real quick and realized that there are other men in this Army that can do the things that I can do. And some did it much better that year. You know, you never know what you're going to do as an individual either once you're faced with those challenges.
We were doing the water confidence course in Ranger School, and getting up on top of that the log walk wasn't very exciting. So I think the fear of failure is probably one of the biggest motivations. Most importantly, I think I don't want to let Tony down, and I don't want to let my family down or embarrass myself and my unit, you know, by having a fear and not being able to overcome it.
For the final event, teams will conduct one last buddy run to the finish line.
And we say that our Army is the strength of our nation, particularly during this now 6+ years of war. And if our Army is the strength of this nation, then Rangers are the strength of our Army. I think that the men that have been through this competition over the last several days here are a fitting example of what this Army stands for.
28 teams started this year's contest. Only 16 finished. Although there are placings, the Rangers that complete this grueling competition are all winners. Crossing the finish line in third place, team number 9, Sergeant First Class Jeremiah Beck and Sergeant Jeremy Billings of the 75th Ranger Regiment.
I got kind of emotional for me because it was 3 months of train up. Coming in, we had the top 3 teams, best competitors here. All got to come across. It was wonderful.
In second place, brothers Major Greg Soule from James Madison University ROTC and Captain Jeff Soule from the 4th Ranger Training Battalion.
We loved playing Army when we were kids, and I think that picture was when I was about 10 and he was about 5. And my grandfather spent a career in the Army, mostly in the infantry. And, he was a 06 full colonel, and so we always had his old Army gear. We'd have fun playing Army, and I guess we're grown up and still playing Army.
Taking first place in the 25th annual 2008 David E. Grange Jr. Best Ranger Competition, team number 5, Staff Sergeants Michael Broussard and Shane Cherry from the 75th Ranger Regiment.
You know, a lot of people, they say they do this competition so they can see how far they can push their body, and I don't think that's necessarily a question anymore for me or my partner, but it's still fun to make yourself do it. It's still fun to know you have that ability over your body, you know, because it's by all means the mileage and the lack of sleep. It sounds almost physically impossible, I think, when you actually stack the competition up on paper. But it's just fun to know you can make yourself do it.